It's break time. Welcome to our fourth episode. It's your co-host, Rissy Ray,
Hey.
and yours truly, Kaninja. Today we have another special guest joining us in our break room to help us talk about today's topic, college, or really higher learning. Our guest today was a former site coordinator who connected elementary and middle school children to mentors and various school resources for 6 years. He was an academic advisor who assisted students with attaining their academic aspirations with realistic goals. Now he serves students in a different capacity as a Single Stop Coordinator. Single Stop Coordinator is a nonprofit organization that aims to reduce poverty and promote economic mobility in the U.S. by connecting people to available government and nonprofit programs, benefits, and services through a coordinated one-stop shop solution. Mr. Lewis, would you like to introduce yourself?
Wow, I think you did a great job so far. Hello, everyone. My name is Louis Deschamps, and as you know, she mentioned earlier, I've done a variety of jobs. I'm also a veteran. I served 12 years in the United States Air Force, so hoorah!
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But I'm just a man who is passionate about serving and helping other people. And even as a young boy, I always had that heart of helping, trying to always meet the needs of other people. And I think some of my jobs along the way just been building stones to what I do now to better help me now as I guess an older adult. But yeah, I love students. I love kids. I love the elementary and middle school level. High school, not so much, but middle school,
It's
elementary.
that attitude.
It's some hormones.
Right.
It's some hormones.
My wife, on the other hand, loved the high school, but me, not so much. I think they knew it all in high school. So, elementary, middle school, I could still like kind of teach them a little bit and help them along. And then, I said, what, time to take another step. Let's go to, the higher education, let's go to, I work for a community college. I don't know if you want me to name the community college, but I work for a community college here in Charlotte. And I love when I was an academic advisor, helping students who come in who didn't know what they wanted to do. So I just, love helping people. I'm sorry. I'm going on and on about myself.
No worries. Thank you.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So I guess on to that, I know you're really working with a lot of the middle school, elementary school, and now you're jumping right into helping with college students. But this kind of may seem like an obvious question, but
Mhm.
why should we go to college?
It's a good question. I have my college degree in human services, and I wonder like why did I go to college when I look at my paycheck every month? Like, um, I think why people should go to college. College is a great thing. It has a variety of different subjects and degrees that you can learn. And college, it's one of those things that's needed in the workforce today. Unfortunately, most jobs want to know, do you have a degree? Not so much what your degree is in, but do you have that piece of paper that says I have my degree in this, my diploma, whatever it may be. It's college is needed for those reasons today, but it's also a great learning aspect too. And it's something that people can't take away from you. They can't take away your experience in college, what you learned in college, and your degree. They cannot take that away from you.
Question, Mr. Lewis, if you can just
Yes.
explain to everyone what is a degree in human services? Like what is the typical coursework? What is the typical career pathway?
Oh, okay, wow. Um, Human services. It is a 4-year degree. I got my degree from Gardner Webb University. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Do we
Human
need a
service.
whoop whoop there?
Human service degree is a degree that most people haven't heard of, but a lot of people, most of the whole world, heard of social work. So we're like the little brother to the social work. We study all the same courses, and our main focus is in like counseling and things like that when it comes down to it. In human services, a lot of people take it and go do same work as social work people do. A lot of group homes, a variety of different jobs in
Okay.
the workforce. So I took my degree and went to working as an academic advisor. It was a degree that helped me to learn to connect with people better.
Okay.
Because I
Yeah.
totally thought it would be like it's more for the HR. It sounds like more like
Oh,
HR,
you're
like
right.
human resources.
True. Yes.
So that's some information for people to know that, hey, this is, if you don't quite want to go all the way into social, like get the master's doctorate in that field, the little brother of it is human services.
Yeah.
They kind of give you,
Yeah.
it sounds like it gives you a
But
touch
we're
of
coming up
everything.
though. We're coming up though.
They're making a name.
Yeah, we're making yes.
Awesome. So I know you mentioned about working with college students and why we should go to college. Why do you think it's so important for school, like really for jobs, to really see that you went to college? Does college really teach you another level of more or less just more of the learning, more of the technical learning, or is it more of the soft skill learning that's really important to different jobs or different people?
Good question. I think I would have to go more of the soft part of that because I think most jobs they just want to know that you're able to be taught, that
Mm,
you're capable of learning when it comes to them because you take your degree. For me, human services it's a degree, but when I do an academic advising job, I didn't use that degree at all. But parts of it helped me to connect with people and to be a good listener and to go and so on that from that point of view. It just depends on what job you're going into and what your degree is in. But I think with most jobs, it's that soft serve part of it where just knowing that you're capable, you do have some skills in this field. Just to give you an example, I don't know if I should use this example now or not. But no,
Should we put a warning label?
you know what? You know what? I think I'm gonna hold that example off for a later
Oh, the
question.
suspense.
I'm sure it's gonna come up. But it's college is good. That degree is excellent to have, and that paperwork is that you can hang up on your wall of your office. But I think jobs just want to know that you are able to be taught and that you can learn.
Gotcha.
So too, because I think I went to one job interview and then I spoke to interviewers how completing a master's, doctorate, bachelor, or your associates, completing some type of education shows that, hey, you're goal oriented
Hmm.
for the most part. Not because no one cares if it takes you 12 years to get your degree. Everyone is more the fact that do you have it. So
Right.
it does show that, hey, you're able to complete it. You able to stick to a goal and complete it, which is also a soft skill. And to time management, I guess, because some people can say, hey, a master's typically 2 years, but you can say in an interview that, hey, I completed it in 1 year, which you can for some certain programs. And that could be impressive to the interviewer as, okay, so not only that, this person has great time management skills and
Mhm.
they're very
And
organized.
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because also, just to let people know that some jobs do look at your GPA. So it's not just like, oh, I went to college, got my degree. I barely got it, but I got my degree. Some jobs will look at your GPA, and their GPA could put you over the top of someone else who has the same skills, degree as you do. So just be mindful. You also want to keep
Oh,
that GPA up as well. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that they look at the GPA like that. I guess.
I know some
Yes, I
jobs,
know not all,
certain
just
jobs,
some do. But
positions,
also when it
sorry.
comes to when it comes down to that interview, like I got two great people here. Like what's going to separate this person from the next person? And it could be as simple as well look they got a 4.0 GPA. This one got a 2.5. Who would you pick? Type deals. Not saying that happens all the time, but it could happen.
It's like the tiebreaker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
What does
and
it
reveals
really
who
tell them, though? Like, I
you
would
all.
assume that it would tell them basically, okay, well, this person, kind of like what Rissy was saying with time management, but also that they could catch on to things a lot quicker, learn things quicker.
in a sense, I won't say it's necessarily true, but it tells the employer that, oh, this person is more dedicated,
Oh,
more focused than the person who has a 2.5. But it could be different things that cause that GPA to drop, So just off the top of my head, but
so if you
I
have
would
a
say
low,
it could.
go ahead.
No, no, you said you had low GPA. What now?
Oh, I would say like, well, if you have a low GPA, then you better like ace that interview. So show them that it doesn't
Well,
matter about the GPA.
yeah, you always want to ace you always want to go in there and be top notch on your interview, but not saying that people look at all employers look at your GPA. Sometimes I ain't on there. Sometimes people put on their resume just to brag. Sometimes people don't. But like I was saying, the GPA could have been low because you had a bad semester because your parent got sick and you had to spend more time focused on them, versus school at that during that semester, and it caused your GPA to drop some. So we can't let that be a big factor of, oh, well, this person got a higher GPA, so I'm definitely hire this person because they're smarter, because it's not necessarily true.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I would think that going to having a college degree, showing that to, different jobs will show that kind of you have that well-roundedness, kind of with the soft skills, the time management, but also that like, hey, I was all in these different situations. I was able to handle these different types of schoolings. So I'm well-rounded.
Yeah.
Is
Hmm.
that kind of,
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, because they understand that you always have to have group work. I don't understand it, especially in
Yeah.
college, why we have to do group work.
I hate group work.
I know, right?
I hate it.
There's
Is it
always
bad?
somebody in the group.
Exactly. Is it bad when they say, hey, we're going to team up to do this assignment? And I'm looking around like,
Why?
oh, I don't want to work with any of these people.
I'd rather do it myself. And I think that's something standard so everyone understands, like, hey, at some point we have to do group work in college. I feel
Right.
like it's an extra layer when it's online because I completed my degree online, and I felt like it was a lot of scheduling issues. It wasn't like how if you have for example, if you have an in-person course, sometimes the professor may go and say, hey, so this class time is for you to work your group, right? That wasn't a luxury I was able to have because I was online, so everyone did it whenever. I had some people in Japan and in a whole different time zone trying to work on a project. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so frustrating. I'm snitching. I don't care. I'm snitching.
You're not doing
Oh,
that
you were
work.
that person.
I was that person. I was like, if I get an A, no one else is getting an A unless you worked it. Okay. So, that I do see the well-roundedness where it's understood like, hey, you had to do group work at one time. You did have to work with difficult people, absentee people. And the worst thing is when they put you in a group at the beginning of the term, you're like, hey, so I don't even know if this person's in this class, teacher, professor, educator. They're like, oh, let me check. Like, what do you mean? Let me check.
Wow.
Like, you said this is a full semester project. That's so frustrating. And they contribute to, and every professor who spoke about group work or like, hey, this is to prepare you for the real world. And this is just my side rant. The real world is here, and I will snitch on you if I don't get my part of my job done. Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we need a paycheck.
Right, exactly.
I'm not going to do the whole project and not say I had any difficulties. I'm sorry.
So Mr. Lewis, Rissy did have her practice of a real world experience of snitching.
I believe it.
Listen, this is not working. I was able to do this, but I had difficulties because of XYZ. I'm like, we're not doing this. We're not doing this where everybody gets the same grade. No.
Be like, nope, they did nothing. They live in Japan or they live in Mexico.
Right. Because you never know. Because everyone, with online, you don't know where everyone is. Unless of course they tell you, you don't know, and you're working with different time zones, people who are working 12 jobs, people who are 12 kids. It's like, oh my goodness. So why are you what? So it was just a lot of scheduling lot of scheduling that I experienced with group work, finishing my bachelor's online. I was like, oh my goodness, this is, that's just how I feel about group work. I don't care. It didn't matter. Middle school, high school, college, graduate. I hate group work.
Right. But if you think about it, though, it's preparing you for your future job working with a team. How would you be able to handle that?
Ooh, yes,
Yeah.
because Kaninja, let's hear this, because Kaninja, within her profession, she works with the team constantly. You're more of a overseer, try to keep everybody in a timeline, more or less. I'm just dumbing it down today. I'm summing it up.
Mhm.
No,
But
you're good.
how do you feel like when you experience group work, right, in college to where your profession is now? Did you experience similar, like, classmates versus coworkers? Is it similar?
That's a great point. So I guess, Mr. Lewis, you can think of me as more like a team coach, I guess you can say,
Mhm.
at
Okay.
where I work, and I help my team remove impediments. I help them figure out different, more efficient ways of working, doing continuous improvements, helping them with facilitation with different meetings or ceremonies is what we like to call them. So, yeah, the thing is with group work, I can see, like in high school, college, what have you, I can see it really as a good practice with really working with people you don't know
Mhm.
Mm.
and getting that relationship building and that trust building with those people. And I never really thought about that right until now, actually, because I hated group work and I love where I work now.
Right.
Um,
I
so
think I, we all hated. I think we all hated group work because we're so used to doing independent stuff, and even in human service, when I was in college, we did a lot of group work just because we were going to be working with a group of people when we get out in our profession. So some group work was great, some wasn't so great. But you took the good with the bad, and you made it work. Somehow, and it
exactly.
all.
So exactly. And I was just kind of thinking it through. A lot of things I've learned other than the relationship. I mean, relationship building when it comes to working with a team wherever you are is key, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And building that trust with people is key, in my opinion, as well. And having everyone on the same page on one common goal. So in group work is getting that assignment done. So splitting it up or figuring out the most efficient way of getting this work done. I know, like in some of the group work I did in the past, it was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna do the beginning essay, the intro to this essay. You do this topic, you do that topic, and you do that topic, and then you do the outro. You do the exit, the hypothesis or whatever the case. And now it's been a while
Mhm.
since I've been back in school. I know how to write an essay, I just don't remember the words. So, but I do kind of see that correlation to how we divvy up some of the work that we're doing, but also saying, hey, this person needs help, go help them. Don't be
Right.
idle. So if you're idle, say, hey, I'm idle, I have capacity, I can help you over here. And
Mm.
definitely can tell when you're in a team, you really can tell the people who are like, I'm just going to do everything on my own. And the other people are like, hey, come help me. I need help on everything. Versus the people are like, okay, I got this. I'll help you with that. And so on and so forth. You really can tell the different type of people.
Yeah, yeah. Because we all bring a different skill set to the table.
Hmm.
And I know the team I work with is beautiful because, where I lack, I got somebody else on the team who excels in that area. So I love working with teams where everybody has a different skill set, so everybody has to work equally to make the whole project come together. So yes, teamwork.
I love the adjective. Your team is
Yes.
beautiful.
Your
Just
team is
anyone who's
beautiful.
listening to this podcast, my team is also beautiful.
Uh, but I do want to clarify when we're talking about college, right? We're
Mhm.
not only saying enrolling in a 4-year university or 2-year community college, we're also including trade schools as well to continue your
Yes.
education, which kind of goes into an article that I read by the North Carolina Plan for College.org. And one of the
Uh-huh.
reasons why you should go to college, and again, we're referring to university, community college, and trade schools, is because you can break out of your shell and gain new skills. Those are one of the 8 reasons. And speaking to both of you in the profession that you both chose, okay, definitely new skills. You're gaining new skills.
Yes.
Because I know prior to, when I'm, 17, 18, or whichever, I didn't have the skills that I have today without pursuing some type of higher education. That I thought also would be pursuing higher education. Another reason is you find your direction, kind of where you want to go. Really know what you like, what you don't like. Can we kind of be on the same page with that? You feel like you
A
have
little bit.
you already knew what you wanted, Mr. Luce. So let's not just brag here. You've been helping people since
No.
you've been helping people. You've helped your country, sir. So
That is true. That is true. See, I was genuine to my goal, but it's finding where exactly do I fit best in helping people. I think I'm still. I think I'm still learning that. You know, but I have been helping people along the way the whole time. So
mhm.
yeah. Um,
So,
and, some people, they go thinking they know what they wanted to do in college, and they get in there and find out quickly, oh no, this is definitely not where I want to go, or maybe I want to go this way, but something else may pique their interest while they're there at college or after college, and so on and so on. So I don't know. Personally, I think sometimes if you're really not sure, maybe you should take that year or so to gather yourself before going to college. Or just spend the first couple of years just doing general education and then declare a major. After being able to look around and see what's out there.
That's
Um,
that's a good point. I
yeah.
know a few people who really didn't know what they wanted to do, and
mhm.
some people didn't go to college for the longest time because they didn't know what they wanted to do, or the famous I don't know what my passion is.
Hmm.
And so I was watching a video a while back, and they were saying that stop looking for your passion, because I think that really, I know we're kind of deviating a little bit, but I think that really stops a lot of people from continuing on to higher education, is that I don't know what I'm meant to do. I don't know what my passion is. So therefore, I
Hmm.
don't know what to go for. And they don't really know what to look for either if they don't go into college. So if you encounter a situation with a student and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what my passion is. I don't know what I'm meant to do. What would be your best advice for that student?
Wow. Before I answer that question, I was that person. um, I my senior year of high school was like, oh my god, I was very nervous because I didn't know what I wanted to do
Hmm.
in college. I didn't even know if I was ready for college. And to be honest, of real life, I didn't go to college right after high school. I worked a job for a year, trying to figure out, okay, am I ready for college? I didn't think I was prepared for college, honestly. I didn't think I had the money for college. I wasn't educated. I didn't have the education to know that, there are loans out there, or there are grants out there, there are scholarships out there. Nobody told me this stuff, so I joined the military. That's why I went to the military, because I wanted the next best thing, not knowing that, joining the Air Force, I was going to college because it was all schools. So I always, I tell people come to my office, well, I used to tell people when they came up to my office to, if you don't know exactly what you want to do, let's start off with the basic general. And I can set you up with a career counselor and people who can help you to get to where you might want to go, help you figure out what it is that you might want to do. So I didn't just tell them, oh, take these courses and go about your business. No, I said, let's start with the basics of English, things like that. And then let's set up a meeting with a career counselor. let's take some tests and see, what's compete your interest and go from there. So, you left my office with tools, not just, oh, okay, I'm going ahead trying to figure it out all by myself.
That's good. So usually that would start, I mean, do you think that would start at because you work at a campus right now, but would that start really in high school, that kind of conversation?
Oh, it should have. It should. Yes, it definitely should have with the career counselors and everybody. Even I would say that middle school. When I was working with middle school kids, I always try to get them thinking about college. What do you want to do? What profession? I had this young lady, who wanted to be a lawyer, but her grades were awful. And her behavior in school and all, like, you're gonna need a degree to become a lawyer, be able to sit down and take this and that. And it kind of clicked in her head, like, oh my God, really? I'm gonna have to study? I have to be like, yeah, you have to bog down into your book. And the by the end of the semester, I'm walking down the hallway and I heard this person yelling my name down the hallway. And there was this young lady, and she was showing me her report card. Like, you're not gonna believe it. Look at my report card. And she brought all her grades up, and to B's and A's. And I was so excited for her, but to see the excitement on her face, like knowing, okay, this is if I want to do this in the future, I'm gonna have to buckle down now, so I can make it easier for myself in the future. And I love that quote. I don't know who wrote it, but do what you got to do now so you can do what you want to do later. That quote. I love that saying. So sometimes we gotta buckle down while we're in school. So whenever I ran across kids in my groups in middle school, even elementary, we always talked about the future. Our grades and getting there. What it's gonna need. If I want to be an engineer, you have to buckle down in math because engineer is full of math.
Yeah.
Uh, things like that. So you know, and when they got to college and it's like, oh, I want to go be an engineer. I'm like, but math is your worst subject, and you can't stand math. Like, we might want to think about a B option. I'm not trying to kill your dream, but you're gonna have to work extra hard in math because this field is full of math, and believe it or not, students like looked at me and thanked me. Like, nobody ever told me this. Thank you for having that real talk with me. I think I think as adults and even parents, we gotta have real talks with our kids. We gotta have that real talk with students. Sometimes they may like it, sometimes they may not like it, but they will appreciate it later on down the road. I guarantee you.
Definitely. Now that's definitely great. And so just to kind of wrap this up before we go into a break, basically, if someone does not know what they want to do or does not know what their passion is, really to start working with a counselor, kind of get a plan going, not to say, oh, well, too bad for you, you're on
Yes.
your own. Really
Right.
look out and search out and definitely try different things in the general courses, try different things in college and see what your options are.
Yes, yes. And even go around talk to different professions. If you're thinking about being a doctor, go have a conversation. Go to the doctor's office, have a conversation with a doctor. See what it's really like. You want to be a lawyer, sit down with a lawyer, talk to a lawyer. And I love those when a lot of high school had career days where they have these professionals come out to the high school, and the students had the opportunity to sit down and talk with those individuals and get the idea. Okay, yeah, this is a good fit for me. Or oh heck, no, I'm glad I talked to you first. Type deal.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Miss Phyllis. We are about to go on a break. So if you want to warm up your coffee, you want to get a little snack, you want to stretch, I know I need to. And we will be back. And we're back. So I'm just going to let you guys know during this break, I had two things. I had a coffee that was a blueberry cobbler type coffee
What the
with
world?
Wow.
buckwheat honey.
Okay.
I'm gonna
All
let
right. Yeah.
Let that
Was it
marinate.
good? Was it worth it?
It was actually worth it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Lewis, if you've listened to our other podcasts before, you'll know that I am I guess you could say a honey connoisseur.
Okay.
So I want to say, what was it, Rissy? In our first episode, I think it was our first episode, I was talking about how I had a chocolate whipped honey.
Right.
Mm.
So I
Right.
put that in the peppermint coffee, which was delicious. So buckwheat honey is a type of honey that's really good for your like respiratory system.
Okay.
And I didn't know that until, I went to Asheville and they have all these different type of honey stores. And I was like, oh, I love honey. And that's what they told me. And so usually I have it every now and then and trying to do it like, pair it up with different coffees. It's not as good as a peppermint with the whipped chocolate honey,
Mm.
but I still think coffee is worth it. So I think this is worth it. So the bar is very low. So, but I also had meringue kisses that I made yesterday. So those are little puff cookies that I made. So I had those. So it's a very nutritious break snack.
Oh, absolutely.
Got you.
Just put it out there. Nobody can just get this from the regular store, okay, guys? So just know that you got to go to Asheville and you got to.
They do have an
I wa-
online store.
Asheville is sponsoring this segment.
Right. Asheville, if you want to sponsor this segment, please contact us.
Because we can't just pick it up at Harris Teeter. Not even Whole Foods, not even Publix. You have to travel. But you said there's an online store. So I like it. Please send us a picture, Kaninja,
Oh, will
so we can
do.
look at it so we know exactly which brand. We can make sure we get that buckwheat. Oh, world.
It has a particular taste. But Rissy, Mr. Ellis, what did you guys do during the break?
Well, mine wasn't as entertaining as yours, but my granddaughter's here visiting, and she is 19 months old, and so I was in there playing with her for a moment, and I had some sweet tea.
Nice. What kind of tea?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sweet tea.
So
Never mind.
just regular sweet tea, So I like it cold though. I should say ice cold tea.
Okay. With tons of sugar in it?
Oh, well, you have to, If it's not diabetic, they'll put you in that coma afterwards, It's no good.
Take advantage. Awesome. Rissy, what'd you do during the break?
So after, because I had my little one, so I was first assessing the damage first to see what she did. And that was the first
Wow.
I was like, hold on, what you did. And so everything was good in that regard. So this is a little bit of a small business shout out. The business is called Kima Cakes. And what I did during the break, I had one of her peppermint mocha hot chocolate bombs.
Ooh.
For the break. So I heat up some almond milk, but it's whatever. You can do milk, water, whatever. I never do water with cocoa, but hey, it'd be like that sometimes. And I heat it up in the microwave and put it over it, and it was awesome and delicious. So that's what I did on the break. It's huge too. So imagine like a regular size bath bomb. That's pretty much what the mold is.
Wow.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
With your fancy hot cocoa, you need to take a picture of that.
This was an early Christmas gift. This is not often, but it was really cool because I with little one, she thinks it's her making her own hot cocoa because when you put the the heat or whatever to it, you put it in the cup first, then you pour whatever liquid, it opens up, and then you see like more cocoa mix, marshmallows. So in her mind, she said, "I made hot cocoa, Mom." I said, "Yeah,"
and she did.
Sure, it cost me, but you made it, right? So that's what I did on the break. I will definitely send you pictures. We ate most of it. I'm down to the last couple, so it's not gonna look as like when you first get it. You're like, no. We're down to like one of each flavor, and I like what we both like the same flavor, so we're gonna have to balance it out a little bit. Don't know how, but it's
Awesome.
peppermint and then regular chocolate.
Yeah,
Dude,
you have to share that with me.
Yeah, definitely share that. Don't be like me and not share. Be like you and share. Awesome. So it looks like we had a pretty awesome break. So I guess kind of getting back into our topic, I know we were talking about having a passion, having kind of knowing what to do, what you want to do, or not really knowing what to do when we try to go into college. But I guess if that doesn't happen, one of my questions is what do you think that is the fault of? Like, so when students feel like they can't go to college because of that, or they can't go to college because of X, Y, Z, certain reasons, financial, family situation, what have you.
Mhm.
Do you think that there is a particular fault of a person, system, or anything along those lines that, in quote, kind of failed that student? Or do you have a different perspective?
Ooh, wow. Yeah. I always want to put it on the system. um, I you know, I think the system failed that student because we, when I was growing up, nobody educated me. So within the system, so like when I went to middle school and elementary, well, middle school mainly, I always tried to educate students on your options or ways to get into college. 'Cause everybody's not gonna get into college on a scholarship,
Mm.
whether it's academic or whether it's a sports scholarship. Everybody's not going to do that. So what are my options now, Mr. Lewis? Well, unfortunately, there are loans there, but there are grants out there that you can apply for. Depending on your parents' income, you may be able to get that Pell Grant, which is you don't have to pay that back. So a lot of students don't know about that. All they know is I can't afford college. College is expensive. And,
Mhm.
and it is really, it's
It
really
is.
expensive.
It is expensive.
That's all they know is that there's going to be a bill associated with it. I can get these loans, but then I'm reliable for paying them back at the end. So what are my other options? And I think more guidance counselors should pull those students in who don't have those top-notch grades and start having conversations of, okay, if these are options that you can still get to college, or if you're not going to college, what is your game plan? You know, there's a trade schools out there, a technical school, however you want to call them, out there that students can do as a second option. Everybody's not built for college, so. But I think it's mainly the system, because system lack and fail to educate their parents, so their parents don't have knowledge to educate them on that aspect. And then I think our schools, where we should be getting it from, are not really educating all the students correctly.
Right.
No, I was just gonna say they do educate a certain population very well,
Hmm.
but others they don't. So.
So for
Hmm.
me, I think it's a mixture, right? I think it's a mixture of yourself, your family, and community. And what I mean by
Okay.
that is on I did a little bit of research obviously before we started this segment. One of the from Imagine America Foundation, the top 5 reasons students do not want to attend college or seek higher education after high school. One is no one in their family has gone to college.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
that to me would be, hey, it's your family. What kind of portrayal or image is your family giving about higher education? And then yourself as well. Because just because your family doesn't necessarily has gone to college doesn't mean that, hey, you have to do the same route, because neither of my parents went to college. That's
Okay.
me personally. And so that was one reason. The second one is that they didn't do well in high school, so they think that college will be too hard, which I feel, Mr. Lewis, you touched on that with guidance counselors. They're pretty much your first line of defense, if I'm not correct, in school systems. That, hey, if you're not doing well in high school, what are your options, or what options can you do that's realistic,
Right. Yeah.
right? Some Another reason that was listed is that some of the students don't know how to choose a college. That
Mhm.
was interesting to me. What made you? Well, actually, let me say, Mr. Lewis, you chose Gardner Webb University, correct?
Yes.
What were your factors?
Because I was a learner, so it just fit. At the time, I was working. I'm an adult. I just got out of the military. I'm finishing up my 2-year degree at the community college, but I needed something that was going to a school that was going to fit my schedule. When I say fit my schedule, like I'm working in the daytime, so I can't pick up and go to class in the daytime in the middle of the day because I'm working. So Gardner Webb had a wonderful program at the time. It was called the Gold Program, which was set up for online classes at adult learning at night. It was on Tuesday and Thursday, from 6 to 10 o'clock. 2 classes on Tuesday, 2 classes on Thursday. And that worked perfect for me. So that was one of the reasons why I chose that school at that time to finish my degree.
Gotcha. Kaninja, you don't have to disclose where you went, okay? Unless you are super proud of your alma mater, then whatever. But what made you choose the college university that you attended?
All right, so I'm just going to do a little bit of a background, but I went to college right out of high school. So I went to UNC Charlotte, whoop whoop, Miners. So I am gonna do a little bit of a shout out because they always seem to be the underdog versus NC State. So whoop whoop, UNC Charlotte. I went there because really of convenience. I didn't have to pay the extra money to live in a dorm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like an in-state school for me, and they had the major I was going for. So I went for computer engineering, and it was convenient. It was there. That's about it. Okay, it's in-state school. They have computer engineering. Campus looks nice. So let's do it. It's not that far from where I live. So I was definitely looking at that point. But yeah, I guess Rissy, I know you've been to different types of colleges. What is your perspective on that?
Well, I did right after high school. I attended and completed a degree at a for-profit school. At the time, I just wanted to be in and out, so I took like a really quick route. And my attention span is so small, to be completely honest with you guys. And at the time, I'm here in 4 years. I'm like, who? My attention span was just I couldn't do it at the time because I did want to be a lawyer. Straight out of high school, I did. I know, right? Definitely a different career path than that. And but I wanted like a taste of it. So the for-profit school that I attended, it was a degree in legal administration. So I could get like a feel under a great understanding of the legal system. And it was quick. It was just quick. It was nothing convenient about it at the time because it was full time. It was like full-time classes. They told you schedule and things like that. But it was quick. It worked for what I had going on. I wanted to be in and out, in and out. In that reference, yes. Would I do it again? No, because I ended up going to further my education in that reference. But I did chose because it was convenient. It fit for what I was at the time. That's why I chose that. And I think a lot of students, they see all these schools, and each school, university, whichever, is saying like, hey, we're great. And every university and college does have like really great numbers. I mean, you could take UNCC, you could take Gardner-Webb, you could take UNC Pembroke, you could take Fayetteville State, you could take Livingstone College, and they all have great numbers. There's great numbers. And I think that's what is confusing for a lot of high schoolers who are ready to move into higher education. Is like, okay, so what's the main difference? Mm-hmm. Like, what is that thing? Like how you choose between a pack of meat. Hey, this pack of meat's $5.55, but this pack of meat is $5.35. Okay.
One is page free.
And you're like, oh, okay.
I just thought of one other factor for me for choosing the school I did. It's also because it's considered kind of distant learning because I didn't go to Gardner-Webb campus, but they sent teachers out to the community college that I was attending. But it was the fact that it wasn't all online because I'd rather be in the classroom setting in front of a teacher, and I had that option, majority of my classes was in the classroom, which I loved, instead of having to do it all online, So that was another factor for choosing Gardner-Webb at the time too.
Nice. Oh, so that's awesome. Another reason that I did see is that some students feel like they won't fit in, or that they think they can't afford college, and that is why they do not choose higher education. Now, Mrs. Lewis, you did mention in our first segment how at the time, like, how can you afford, like, different factors when you're like, hey, what's the next step? What's the next move? Do you feel that in the high school, middle school setting, there's not enough information in regards to affording college, how you can pay for it, how you really can pay for it?
When I was attending, yes. Um,
Okay.
Even when I was working with students, and about say 8 years ago, there wasn't enough information. So I can't speak to today, but I do know that a lot of students are now. We try as an academic advisor, which I love my community college for, that we would go into the high school as well and talk to those students and let them know, like, we know you can't afford to go to this 4-year university, but hey, come to community college. It's a cheaper route, especially the first 2 years. You can get all the education that you're going to get at a 4-year university for those first 2 years, and then transfer. And that way, you won't be, if you have to take those loans out, you won't be in that much of a debt. Just take education. It's not enough education is not being given to our students.
Yeah,
Kaninja.
yeah, I mean, as far as I guess I have two perspectives, I guess, or one perspective, one opinion. For me, luckily, my parents did go to school, so they did have a little bit of that background. My siblings did go to community college, and I just chose to go to university.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't want to go to a community college mainly because at the time I felt like there was like a stigma around it, you
Yes.
know. So it's like, oh, I don't want to go to community college. Like that just means that
It's not.
I'm dumb, or that just
It,
means that I'm poor or something along those lines, and I don't want to look like
mm,
that, or whatever the case. Now I totally don't believe that. I'm all for college, totally for tech schools, and I think you touched on this, Mr. Lewis, as well as earlier. You mentioned that school's not for everybody, but maybe there's different type of schooling that could be for you. Maybe a university is not for you, but maybe a tech school is for you, or maybe a community
right.
college is for you, or maybe an online school is for you. I can't do online. I have an attention span, just like how Rissy said, her attention span, I'm the same way. So definitely I need someone there in my face and saying, you need to listen to this. But yeah, so that's kind of my perspective on that. As far as my opinion, as far as learning or really finding out the financials of schooling, I didn't realize how many scholarships were out there. How you can just choose a grant. Like, so when I first started school, I chose everything that they gave me, which included a lot of loans, and I'm still paying that off. And I didn't know that you could just choose the grants that you're given.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, that's kind of where I am.
You
Wait,
know,
side note. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I just
I,
want to piggyback on what Khadija said. It's honest. It is a perspective. When I was younger, that if you did go to community college, like, you didn't have any help, you had no direction. Like it's something where if you go to a university, you know what you're doing. That's
mm,
the impression that we received when we were in high school.
yep.
So unfortunately, like, now, of course, like, we have programs where high schoolers can take college, college level courses at community college. Now everyone's like, oh yeah, this is great, but that wasn't given. That wasn't something that was like, hey, this is not a bad, like, it's a stigma. And of course we don't feel like that anymore, but that's the impression you're getting at the tender age of 15, 16, 17, 18.
Oh yeah, you're not smart enough if you go into a community college, or
Or
it's
trade
not
school.
cool to go. Yeah, it's not cool to go to trade school or community college. Listen, as a parent, I have a 24-year-old and a 21-year-old, and they had no choice but to go to community college first. Um, because I just wasn't going to spend that money on higher education. I mean, going to university when I know you get the same level of education in the first 2 years at community college, and plus you're not even sure what you want to do or you want to go to college. So I'm not going to waste all that extra money if I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I talked to a lot of parents who had the money, but it's like, I'll just send their kids to community college first now, just to save. to help their kids out. Now, if you can afford it and you just want to go to university to start off with, have at it. I'm not taking anything away from that. You got a scholarship, have fun. Also, I'm hard on the system, but also as a student, our students, they have to take more responsibility for themselves as well and go out there and ask this question and learn all the different options. Y'all mentioned earlier about scholarships. At the community college I work at, I noticed the fact that millions of dollars goes left on the table of unused scholarship money every year because students just don't go and apply for it for whatever reason it may be. It's just unheard of. There's money there, but people just don't come in and get it. They won't come and get it.
You're right, because I see so many scholarships, because I'm a grad student, and I'm looking at scholarships, and all I'm seeing is high school. I'm like, boogers. Like, that's all I see. I mean, there's some, but then they talk about programs. I'm like, I'm not in that. I'm not in that either. But I know there's so much when it goes from high school to college. I see a bunch of those. Bunches of those. Versus people who are pursuing higher education at a later time in their life. I see a lot of high school straight to college or university. I see that a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like a little bit of a side note, when I was in middle school or high school, there was no push for me to talk to a guidance counselor. I only talked to them maybe once, and it was that one push of, all right, talk to the guidance counselor and what your classes are going to be next year, or whatever the case, or next semester. And there was no really push on, hey, talk to your guidance counselor of what you want as your future. Because I went to I went to a charter middle school, but again, there was no push. If they had a mandatory meeting, like let's say once a month or once every few months or once every 3 months or whatever the case, then I feel like, more students or more people would be able to really get an idea about schooling and have a good idea of how to look up scholarships or with the financials, or, just to see, their community college is not a bad thing to go to. Tech schools are not a bad thing to go to. I am not dumb if I go this way or that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you 100%. I know we used to hold how to come fill out the FAFSA, but there was no night of, hey, let come show your parents how to look up grants to help fund school for your kids. So those would be great things that the school can do for the people, for the students. Yeah, I just love what you said. Yeah.
Oh,
so I guess
can I add something really, really quick?
absolutely.
Sure. So again, I attended a for-profit school, okay, when I was high school. Please, whoever is listening who is in a for-profit school program, please, once you are done, get as many copies of your transcripts as possible, because
Yes.
those things up and close on you, okay? And that's what, and luckily I was before my school, because it was based in Charlotte, before my school closed a few years ago. I didn't get an official transcript. I just got an unofficial because I really didn't use it as a reference. Like, I used it, but it worked out for me in employment. So I did receive like my unofficial transcript and also the course book. You know what I mean? Like when you go and do research, like what did this course really entail? It doesn't matter now because I'm doing other things. But please, because it's like you have to go through so many hoops, and that's for anyone. Because I've met people who their old high school closed or old middle school closed or something like that. Please make sure you get really?
Yeah,
Really?
my high school. Yeah, my high school's a middle school now. So wow. Yeah.
Wow. See, listen. So please, if you whatever place you finish, obviously, like high school and any other higher education, please make sure you get a copy of your transcript. You make sure it's sealed. Okay,
Yes.
make sure it's sealed and keep it where you put your, other important documents like your warranty, birth certificate, all that good stuff. Please do that, because it is, let me tell you, you go through so much stuff. They do, the schools do what they're supposed to do, but sometimes certain schools don't do what they're supposed to do. So it's just a lot of work that you have to do. Please get a copy. Please.
That's a great point. Yes.
For your personal records. That's it. I mean, I guess in general, you can get transcripts whenever, but especially with me being a for-profit college and the school closed, yes, please just get a couple copies. Please get a copy.
That was our PSA for today. Public service announcement. Please get your copies. Now, I had a question, like just a total side note. Why does it have to be sealed? Is it like for so it's official?
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. Because if it's open and if you could tamper with it somehow or put something else in there yourself. So if it's not sealed and you go for any job requested, they won't take it. It has to be sealed.
Gotcha. Don't you have to pay for extra copies of the transcript too? Or is that just
True? Yes.
You do. You do. You do.
Just get like 20.
But I think the first copy is more expensive, and then the additional copies are like $2 each, something like that. At least the school I went to. Yeah. So because if you go into a job and you interview and you get the job and that job requires a degree, you're going to have to get them a transcript. And if you don't provide that transcript, they can move on to the next person.
Right. Because a lot of positions like, hey, off the gate, we need these things before we even get to the next part. So
yeah.
So I guess one of our last questions that we had was, what are your thoughts of attending school during the pandemic? I mean, we're dealing with these times right now, and it's not easy. Unprecedented times. It's not easy, and I know a lot of schools are doing Zoom, doing online, and you mentioned before that you like doing the in-person. What are your thoughts of these times with schooling?
It's scary. Oh my goodness. I think we've seen around the nation, we've seen, like 76% of the schools that reported they've seen a decline in attendance. I mean, in enrollment. And I think it's because of the pandemic, like majority of students want to be in the classroom. They want to be in front of a teacher, that's just their style of learning. And nothing's wrong with that. But there are some courses, that you have to still go and sit in front of a teacher. And it's just, I like that the schools are taking protocol and trying to be extra careful, taking the temperature, asking those questions, the social distancing, only taking half the class at one time, It's just a different world we're living right at this moment. And I don't know how this is going to get better or when it's going to get better, but it's just, it's scary because almost like you're taking a risk every time you go out to the campus, not knowing that other people are taking precautions that you are taking. And, it's going to be interesting to see if enrollment is going to come back up eventually, because there's so many people who are out of work and they need jobs. And I don't know if I can just go to school now and not focus on working because I got bills to pay. Yeah, it's just a scary time.
Oh, and you know what you mentioned, Mr. Lewis, about how students want to be in that in person, prefer anyway. There was a recent report that I saw in the National Student Clearinghouse that showed that there's nationwide, obviously, a 9% decline in public community college enrollment.
Wow.
Wow.
Which reflects our nature, right? Now, I did see that it did mention that there's actually a 3% increase in for-profit enrollment.
Really?
Yes. And that enrollment, typically a lot of the for-profit schools had, online programs already. So I think there are some students who are like, hey, I do want to finish some type of degree, some type of education, and are okay with the complete online format. But definitely with that decline in 9% in public community college enrollment does definitely show that, hey, we want to be in person on top of other factors because we are in unprecedented times. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. That is very interesting.
Because I want to see my friends too, my classmates, but doing this online deal, kind of makes it a little hard.
Little.
Wait, that's how to put
Unless
it
you're
lightly,
doing unless you're doing group projects. Then they can
Right.
stay over there.
Yes.
All right, awesome. No, great facts, great conversation, guys. So we're almost out of time. Before we get back to work, let's finish out our podcast with our final thoughts. So, Mr. Lewis, basically our final thoughts is a segment that we do where each person gets about 30 seconds to give their final thoughts on our topic today. So we'll kind of just do a round table on that, just a quick 30 seconds. And I guess, Rissy, do you want to go first?
Yes. Let me go and get my timer. We time it. We said 30 seconds. It's going to be 30
I
seconds.
know. I mean, no pressure, right?
I mean, I sometimes I stop early, like.
Then you can have a little bit of plus.
Right, exactly. All right, I'm starting in 3, 2, 1. First, I think this is a very, very, very important topic right now, being that we're in unprecedented times, and a lot of people who had education goals, dreams, have to really consider what they need to do next, and really consider what's the next career move. So this is an awesome topic, and I hope that we get to talk about it in the near future. Good.
Awesome. And I guess I'll go next, and we'll save the best for last.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So basically, I think this is a great topic as well. One thing I got out of this is that it's okay to not know your passion before going into college. Now, that's a really big thing. And the facts that Rissy has given, I think that gives a lot of perspective on where we all are. Definitely during this pandemic, it is hard, but definitely keep the college, higher learning in your forefront, because this is not forever, but college could help with your forever. So that's all I have. And yeah.
Okay.
Very good. To whoever listening, whether it's parents or students or, college, sit down and weigh out your options. Write down your goals, what you want to do in life, where you want to go, what you want to be in the next 5 years. College may not be for you, it may be for you. There are trade schools out there where you can go and just concentrate on that certain trade and go to work after that. Or some of you may not even go to trade school or college, and you may just want to start your own business. You don't need an education to start your business, but surround yourself with people who have successful business. But write down your goals and then see how to reach your goals and go from there. That's my
Perfect.
final thoughts.
Awesome. So those are our final thoughts. Thank you again, Mr. Lewis, for joining us in our break room and sharing your
Thanks
experience.
for inviting me.
Of
Thank you for
course.
inviting me.
It was a lot of fun, and hopefully